The first thing you want to do is write down as briefly and concisely as possible what the task is that you want to accomplish. This is going to let you get a baseline of how the AI behaves before you explain exactly how you want it to do it. By establishing a baseline, you'll start to understand the AI's bias so that you can do what you need to counteract it as much as possible. This is the output from Claude Opus 4.1. And as you can see, the website is kind of ugly. I don't know what these shapes are. The color is weird. The font is fine. It just doesn't look great. And what is 123 Main Street? This is fake. This is a fake email. There's fake information and a bad design. So this is the most advanced model. If you saw this and thought AI is bad at web design, you would be wrong. The first thing I'll do is switch to a less expensive model so that I can iterate on my prompt repeatedly without running up a huge bill. This is the output from Claude Sonnet 4. Stick with me because we'll get Sonnet to produce a truly beautiful output by the end of this video. It's even worse, but I think it helps us understand how the model thinks about our prompt. Again, we have a lot of fake information, 555123 brew. Just generally bad design. Purple, orange, tan, it's really ugly. The first technique that we're going to use is something called chain of thought. This is a fancy word for telling the AI to think about what it's going to do before doing it. This is generally a good idea for people too. Don't just do the first thing that you think of, but think about it, maybe even write it down and make a plan, and then take action on it. So if you tell the AI to think about it first and write out its thoughts and then take the action, it will generally have a much better time accomplishing the goal that you want it to do. Because by thinking it through and writing it down, it's essentially dedicating more computation to the task before it has to commit to a specific direction. And that can help the AI really figure out where in its own thought space to end up taking it. This can end up with more creative outputs and also more thorough, well thought out outputs. This is the output from Sonnet when I told it to think through its design before implementing it. It's definitely different. The mouse is this orange dot. We have this strange kind of abstract art in the background, but there's a little bit of a narrative. The colors are a little bit better. There's some brown, which makes sense for coffee. The text is more readable. We have some stronger headlines. Generally, it still sucks. Let's make it even better. So now we have the AI thinking about what it wants to do before doing it, but we're not telling it how to think about it. That's super important. And I'm going to talk about that next. As you saw with the last one, it was really ugly and it picked a specific visual direction before actually thinking about it. If it had thought about it, it would have realized that's ugly, let me do something different. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell the AI to think through 5 different visual identities and only at the end pick one that it thinks will be most effective for this particular website. So what that does is it makes the AI explore different possibilities and generate ideas before having to commit to one. This is something that is very useful for human creativity also. If you think of 100 ideas, you're much more likely to get one good idea than if you just think of one idea. The AI is no different. It's based on pattern recognition. So a lot of times the first thought it has is generic and boring. So you need to get it to kind of get that onto the page and move on with its life, and then pick something more interesting. So this is the design when I told it to explore 5 visual identities and then pick one. So I think it's a little bit cleaner. The color scheme makes a lot more sense. I know this is a coffee shape, but it just doesn't really look good. Generally, this has a much better layout. The design is more subtle. We're really getting there. We're really getting somewhere. This is a little bit off, just how it's all laid to one side with this big empty space here. It's kind of cramped up against that side. Sarah M, it made up some more information. 123 Main Street is fake. Did you notice how it added 555123 brew on both this and the previous website? That's what I mean by the AI has bias. The AI is gonna keep on doing the same thing over and over, and you're going to be asking yourself, why? There's some fluke in its training data or some fluke in the way that it ended up being the way it is. And all of these AIs have a major amount of bias. So now the AI is exploring different visual identities and choosing one, but it's still not creating a design system or something to pull that all together and to really make the visual identity consistent across the whole page. That's what we're going to be doing next. So I explained to the AI what a design system is in my view, and then I told it to create one for the given website. So this is the output from Sonnet after I told it to create a design system. I think it's much more consistent, nice strong font, multiple fonts with different purposes. I don't really understand why these rotating shapes are here, but I kind of like it. It doesn't look bad. And here we see a much stronger design here, a strong section with a consistent look. We have this strong, impactful geometric font followed by this nice handwritten accent font. 12 years of experience. It's making things up again. Our signature roasts. This looks great, but again, it's completely making up this information. So we're going to have to address that. Here, community events and more 555-123 brew. I swear that's not in the description, but the AI really wants somebody to call this phone number. I feel bad for whoever phone number this is because the AI is clearly biased to generate this for a random coffee shop. That was one of my favorite designs so far, but it's still making up fake information, and that's a huge no-go. So what I'm going to show you next is how to get the AI to, as much as possible, stick to only what you tell it and prevent hallucinations. I don't want to see 555-123 brew ever again. I told it only use information from the description given to you or creative copy to evoke a certain emotion, but don't make any claims or make any information that wasn't provided in the original website description. So this output, first off, it looks great, very strong visually. It has a whole story. So this is interesting copy, and it's not saying anything fake. It's only saying what was in the original website description. And here it breaks it out. The description was very minimal, but here it's just presenting the information in a well-designed way. It's not making up new information because the AI always wants to make things up. You can call it hallucinating, but it's really just the way AI functions. If it doesn't have enough data on something, it will just produce output regardless. It's never going to say, I don't know. So here we have find us, but they don't say a fake address. This is a huge improvement. I think we're starting to see some good design now, but everybody has a different idea of good design. And if you don't like it, that's because you have a different definition of good design than I do. Telling it what good means to you is going to be super important to getting outputs that you really like. And you need to tell the AI as best as you can in your language what's good to you. And I'm going to show you how. The AI is going to have its own idea of what good design is. And it's probably going to be different than yours. It's going to be an amalgamation of what people said good design was from all over the internet. I don't think an average anything is really going to give a strong voice. If you just try to express what good design is, that'll help guide the AI to where you want it to go. This isn't an exact thing, but we're just trying to encourage and to nudge the AI a little bit closer towards the direction where you're going to enjoy the output. So here's the output after I told it what I think good design is. I think that this is also pretty beautiful. Nice colors, nice fonts. Okay, the spacing is a little bit funny, but I think it's cool. Good color scheme, some random stuff like this shape here. It's kind of bouncing. That's funny, but I think we're seeing some good design now. But it's still not all aligned vertically in a grid. It's still not using grids as effectively as I wish it was. One thing that I'm missing from a lot of these designs is grid thinking. That's something that I think is a key to good design, to really build those harmonic mathematical relationships between space and the things that occupy the space. So next, I'm going to show you how to tell the AI to think about grids or any framework that you think is really important to get the outputs that you need. So I told the AI a little bit about how I think about grid systems, and I encouraged it to think more about grid systems while it's designing the page. Here's what Sonnet designed after I told it to think about grid systems. I think this is another really nice design. Different colors. This really isn't lining up vertically, but I think it's thinking about a grid. One of the ways that you have to think about working with AI is that it's a non-deterministic system. So that means it's kind of random. The AI doesn't have a thought space, but it has what's called a latent space. And that's the place where concepts live in the AI's world. And essentially, when you're saying, think about grid systems, it thinks about not only grid systems, but everything that relates to grid systems. You don't just want to talk about good design. You want to talk about all the things that you think are related to good design, and that'll help guide the AI a little bit more. I don't know if you've been noticing this too. There's rounded borders and then a strong border on one side that creates this kind of cut off angled border. And I don't think it looks good. I've seen this border style so many times that I think Claude is biased to to output this border style. AI bias has come up a few times now, and I'm going to show you a super quick bonus tip how to get it to not do something that you see it does a lot. Just tell it, don't do that thing. As an example, so I added an instruction specifically to tell it, don't make borders that are rounded and only on one side. The next site I'm going to show you is generated by Sonnet with all the little changes that we've made. I think it's a far better output than the one we originally had. Let's check it out. So here's the output from all of our small changes combined to our new beastly super prompt. So I think that this is much better than originally. Nice font, strong copy. It's not making anything up. It still has a border on one side, but it's not rounded. I think that's better personally. The web design prompt is still not perfect, but it's much better than it was before. And after you're having a hard time improving your prompt, now you're no longer iterating and running up a huge bill. Now's a great time to switch to a more expensive model and see what that looks like with your new and improved prompt. I like the minimalism. A lot of these designs have been too busy. This is great so far. A subtle gradient, some strong poetic copy, a little subtle movement. And the colors are good. They're subtle, minimal, strong use of white space. The message is on point. The design is nice and sparse. These nice cards, nice drop shadows, nice little written friendly text. There's a very strong brand voice here. So a big theme through all of this is thinking about your problem so that the AI doesn't have to think about it for you. Just because the AI can think about things doesn't mean the AI can think about everything all at once. So the more that you think about it beforehand, write it out, and then tell it to the AI, it's going to help the AI go even further to go where you didn't have the energy to go. And just in case you forgot, this is what Opus generated initially. It's kind of ugly. It's got weird shapes. And this is where we've got it to. This looks like it's actually been thoughtfully designed. And it doesn't have all that fake information either. So I hope from this video, you're able to take away how the AI isn't just able to do what it initially looks like it's able to do. But if there's something that you're knowledgeable about, that you're experienced with, or that you have strong opinions on, by writing that down and telling that to the AI, you can generate output that can be much better than you could do on your own, or that other people could do with the AI. And by expressing your opinions to the AI and inserting yourself in that process, your creative voice becomes an asset and a competitive edge that lets you be able to produce things with the AI that other people are not able to produce.